Using an app called Meetup, I've connected with this group called OutdoorAfro. It's been some really good events that I've done with them. We've gone on camping trips, kayaking, stand-up paddle boarding, and a couple of hiking trips. This was at Sourland Mountain Preserve on February 17th, Huey P. Newton's birthday. It was a really challenging hike. I wasn't expecting it to be as hard as it is. It's not that it is such a hard hike in good conditions, but it was icy, it was cold, um, and trying not to slip on the ice. uh, like anything with practice, I learned that it was important to try to step on either the exposed tree roots or the rocks or anything that was dry, because it was just with the uneven surfaces, the elevation change, the ice was just not the thing to be standing on. But you felt like a kid in a way that it was like fun to be just exploring through the woods, hanging out with really cool people, great conversation, lots of giggles. Um, Even more cool was the fact that it was constantly challenging your balance, your coordination, had me thinking ahead to where I was placing my feet, how my balance was, sort of like you would if you were mountain biking or skateboarding or uh, a lot of the other things I like to do, road biking, etc. But that constant concentration on your foot placement, etc., was really a lot of fun. Actually, what it was closest to was rock climbing. The focus in rock climbing for me has been learning to think about my feet rather than my hands. You don't pull yourself up the wall, you actually like walk or step up the wall. So your strongest muscles are in your legs, and it's incredibly important for you to focus on your foot placement and toe placement rather than handholds. You don't pull yourself up the wall. It was the same thing on this hike that I was actually thinking about. I was actually overdressed for the hike. I had recently gotten back or tried something that I hadn't done in over 10 years. I went back snowboarding. My local mall actually has an indoor snowboard place at the American Dream Mall. There's big snow, and I just wore the same clothes that I wore, thinking that I would need to be as warm as when I was out snowboarding. Um, Both at snowboarding indoor, where they keep that temperature at 29 degrees. I was overdressed there as well. But also out here, even though it was, I think it was about 14 or 15 degrees, somewhere around there, I didn't factor in that I would be generating so much heat climbing over these rocks and, you know, jumping from one to the other and, climbing up the elevation, etc. But just want to point out that awesome classic North Face jacket that somebody in front of me there has borrowed. That jacket is decades old. It's one of my purchases that I cherish. I've always tried to get the best gear that I could at the best sale or cheapest price for exactly that reason. That jacket I have used a lot over many years, and it has held up incredibly well. And when you amortize the price of something that, is of that quality, you pay so much less, and it's also better for the environment. I don't like buy things that I don't use, as well as I try to hold on to things. That uh, yellow and black North Face that you see in front of me right there, I was riding my mountain bike one day, and I got caught on a branch, and it tore open one of the seams, and I was able to return it to North Face for a repair. They have a repair service, and they fixed it. Actually, I don't even remember if they charged me, but um, returned it to me, and I literally can't even tell where it was torn. So it's awesome. You know, there's a trooper hat that I think was a little earlier in the video. There was a moment where I showed it. Um, I believe it's a Summit series. That was a gift from my sister who lives in Japan, and that thing has done multiple duties both at work and in all the outdoor activities I enjoy and like to do. and it's held up really well. Mind you, none of this is paid sponsorship. Isn't that what they say online? Um, yeah, so these things were either bought with my own money or my sister gifted me. I guess this is a bit of a tangent that I'm on, but I'll continue. I can sew, and I taught myself to sew because I was an athlete and clothes didn't fit me, whether it's sweatsuits or jeans or whatever. But it taught me to look for the quality in materials and construction, etc. And my frugality and being a broke ass coupled, you take those things together, and I realized that the cheapest thing in the long run is to do your research, look for the product that you feel like you can either not afford or would be a really big stretch, and think ahead to buying that same thing out of season or when it's obviously going to be on most sale, or if there's a clearance, or should things sometimes what happens like with my hiking boots. I was able to get hiking boots for myself and my woman at literally two-thirds off from REI because a combination of things. I think they changed the style as well as a lot of these permeable membrane like Gore-Tex, etc., um, have the PFAS in them. So I think they're trying to eliminate that from the stock and the things that they sell. Um, well, the things are already manufactured, so you know what? It's better for me to buy that versus it be in a landfill somewhere or something. So they do need to eliminate stock for what's the ethos of the company. But for me, that was a literal godsend. I was able to get $150 or more hiking boots for like $50 or less. It was phenomenal. And that's the kind of thing that I look for. The same mindset that helps me with my frugality with purchases also applies to other things. Not only would I go to a thrift store and buy jeans or clothes or jackets or whatever, and through just using a seam ripper and a book that I bought used from a bookseller, teach myself to sew. But at the same token, joining this meetup group and going to these outdoor Afro events, I'm always thrilled and blown away at the skills and knowledge that is there amongst my peers while we're hanging out. And it's somewhat because we have things in common. Anyone who would be interested in self-knowledge, independence, etc., would also be interested in going hiking, etc., or challenging themselves later in life to learn new skills, do things that maybe they weren't comfortable with when they were younger, whether it was swimming or kayaking or whatever. I am definitely not a water person. I have never been into, like water sports or whatnot. I actually pride in the fact that when I used to go to summer camp down south, I was known for no one could dodge swim instruction in the morning like I could. I'm sure that Our Lady of the Hills, even before they closed down, probably remembers that I was the person that they could not find me when it came to swim instruction. Um, but I've gone kayaking and enjoyed the heck out of it. I've used my skills or interest in photography and my new interest in drones and video, etc., to document these things. I've met people who teach physics. I've met people who are environmentalists, who are, into even my woman. She's like amazing with the things that she can do with beading and tatting and all of these things that I have absolutely no patience for. Um, but I admire at a distance. The same with the water sports thing. But this is a survivalist experience in the sense that things are pretty bad right now. And I wonder if people realize that some of these things that we're out here doing are things that we're going to need to have that skill, whether it's cooking, cleaning, hiking. I won't get to the runaway slave kind of association of what we're doing here with our hiking, but let's just say you're gonna have a hard time catching me because I don't like the winter and I'm out here with these folks and we're doing the thing.